Sorry. Hi, this is Ted. Today I'm going to be talking about something called Compensetory Conviction. What is Compensetory Conviction? All right, I'm finishing this book. Actually, I'm listening to it while I'm working out, and I'm wrapping up the last chapter, and it's about conspiracy theories, because my conspiracy theory is that the prophetic movement have prophets who are given over to conspiracy theories. In particular, the one that the election was stolen from President Trump. And I know some of you think this is not a conspiracy theory, but it remains one until it is proven beyond the shadow of the doubt, beyond your group that believes it's a conspiracy theory. Because every conspiracy theory have people who believe it is true and believe it is proven, and most never get proven. But occasionally one will, in which case it stops being a conspiracy theory. So until this stops being a conspiracy theory, it is a conspiracy theory, and I will say, from my point of view, it will remain a conspiracy theory until the end of time. I want to talk about compensatory conviction. In this book, I'm going to summarize it rather than read word for word, simply because reading word for word I found doesn't seem to work as well as me summarizing it. He's talking about the feelings people get, the types of feelings that people get that latch them on easily to conspiracy theories. And by the way, we all give in to conspiracy theories sooner or later of different types, some more radical than others. But I don't have time to get into how that happens or the different types of conspiracy theories. I just want to focus on this one with the prophets. Speaking about uncertain feelings and fears, the reason we hold on to conspiracy theories is because a lot of us have uncertainties about what's going on in the world and fears. And so when we have that, it makes us more vulnerable to conspiracy theories. People compensate for uncertain feelings, and that includes fears. In one domain, that domain is the uncertain feelings that we have and the fears. Okay, that domain, we compensate with increased certainty in other domains. Most of those other domains are ideological beliefs. Now, I find this interesting. What he's saying is to compensate for what I am uncertain about, to compensate with the fear I have with that uncertainty. I get even more radical in my belief of something to make up for the one area. All right, let's see how this works out with the prophets. Many in the prophetic movement have doubled down. They have doubled down and say, the president will be proven right. He will be put back in the White House this term. They're doubling down. Now, this theory that I just gave would suggest the reason they're doubling down is because of uncertain feelings inside of them and fears they have. I will talk more about that. Why do you think they would be afraid? What do you think they're uncertain about? Well, there's signs that they really are afraid. I have several signs, 3 signs, that to me reveal that they are afraid of something. First of all, they talk so much about fear. As I mentioned before, there's something that I call looking through the beam. When Jesus was talking in Matthew 7, he said, don't be trying to get the specks out of your brother's or your sister's eyes until you get the beam out of your own, and then you can help them get their specks out. Why? Because you got a beam in your own eye, and if you only see through that beam, I've seen this in a few cases in counseling. Somebody's absolutely convinced everybody's having affairs because, as we find out after a little counseling, that person has had affairs. Jimmy Swaggart, before he was busted, before he was caught with a prostitute and pornography, he put out a book on fornication, and he talked about fornication. He called Christian rock the fornication of gospel music. He liked the word fornication. So he's looking through the beam. He sees fornication in a lot of things. The same is true with the prophets. Not in the area of fornication, but in the area of fear. Over and over again, they tell us not to be afraid. They show us Bible verses, not to be afraid. Why are they so consumed with not being afraid? They're struggling with it. The second sign they are struggling with fear is they place themselves in an us versus them scenario. Constantly, it's us versus them. They are under attack constantly from the media, from YouTube, from Facebook. They are under attack from outsiders, from people laughing at them. You may mock, but God is laughing at you, they say. The day is coming when you will be shown we are right. They're mocked by fellow Christians. This is a theme that you will hear in some of their messages. So they talk a lot about fear. They have the scenario of us versus them. That is very obvious. But finally, the third sign that they are afraid, they appear to be huddling together. There's several different YouTube channels now where you'll get prophets huddling together. Well, I did a little research on this and find that among animals, this is a very defensive posture. It's called defensive aggregation. Emperor penguins, for example, huddle together down in the Antarctic Circle. They huddle together and protect themselves from the weather, from seals, from whales and sharks. And huddling together help them to survive. The purpose for animals to huddle, which is very interesting, is number one, to protect themselves from predators, is to overwhelm predators' consumption capacity. Predators such as sharks going after fish. If you are in a school of fish with thousands and thousands of fish, you will, from time to time, be chased by a shark. But if you're in the middle of a huge group of fish, chances are good you're going to survive. But if you're all by yourself, you may not survive too well. So, huddling together helps in the area of survival because your predators can only eat so much and they can only chase for so long. Secondly, you can overwhelm your predator because being in a large group makes you look bigger than you really are. The question I have is, what are they afraid of and why are they doubling down? Are they afraid they are wrong, that they were wrong? They predictably worked hard on damage control when President Trump did not make it through. Are they afraid they are losing their political influence? There are some of them that were in the White House with the president, advising him. Hank Kunneman advises him in his dreams. He does. Or was that Robin? I think it might be Robin Bullock. I don't know, one of those two. He dreams, in his dreams, he's advising the president. And I often wonder, does he really think he's somehow reaching the president through his dreams? I don't know. Anyway, be that as it may, are they afraid they're losing that political influence? Now, the last question I have, it's going to sound weird at first, but are they afraid they're going to be losing their revival? they're saying a lot of, no, the revival is coming no matter what. But Lance Wallnau really has been pushing the 7 mountain mandate. And that means we need to take control of 7 areas of this world for Christ's kingdom to really come alive. And part of this revival will be taking over that 7 mountains of this world. And a real quick side, that 7 mountain mandate was not first discovered by 2 Christians, where God revealed it to them back in the, I think it was the 60s or 70s. But rather, 5 years before they had that 7 mountain mandate revealed to them, a French philosopher, a Marxist philosopher, talked about 6 areas that capitalism dominates. And those 6 areas are parallel to the 7 mountains that came out 5 years later. Just saying. All right, back to Lance Wallnau. If you need to take those 7 mountains, and one of those mountains is going to be politics. When we see politics going backwards, away from that revival where God is in control of politics, and that's their thinking. Satan has gotten a hold of the White House. Are they afraid they're losing control of the revival that's supposed to come? All right, those are the only questions I have. Leave your comments. I love your comments. This is Ted. Have a good one. Bye.